There's a difference between ritual and routine. And we as men, we have a lot of our routines. A lot of us wake up and we go work out, and then we do our thing, and that's a routine.
Yeah.
But the power of ritual is we have no control.
That's right.
And the power of fatherhood is we don't have control. And I think when we yell at our kids, it's because we think we can control. And they come in with their own medicine and their own ashe. And the hardest part for me is being able to accept and not project what I want my son to do or be. Like, I was a jock, and there was a long time when that was like, when you say tenderness and artistic thing, my son was more into video games and doing other things, and I was like, beautiful. And I would see him play certain sports, and I'd be like, oh man, like I didn't want, I was trying to protect him from what society would do, but at the same time, he was teaching me, you don't need to protect me. Like, I'm comfortable. Why aren't you comfortable? You hear what I'm saying?
Woo.
And so, and I'm still learning, and I think that's the journey of this new humanness. I know it's a show about masculinity and wellness, but I guess the real sacred lesson is that the real definition of manhood is that there is no manhood, there is no control. That fear is a construct. And that if we can let go of our expectations and our beliefs about what we're supposed to be and just be who we are, that's actually the definition of freedom, liberation, spirit, because then we're boundless and we're able to fulfill whatever our life purpose is here.
Yeah, I would say just to that, the liberation, the sacred lesson definitely is what you just shared. And the liberation piece is like, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, follow it. Just follow it, you know? And the shame and the blame is just distractions. It's those pieces, you know, people call, you know, demons, devil. Like, those are the real things that we have to work with. And so allowing ourselves the grace to grow, you know, whatever way that looks like, I think that goes back to your point on how others might view us. Just allow yourself the grace to grow, get away from what's harmful, continue to step forward, ask questions, ask for help, lean on the people you love, and make sure you're not getting burned by the same people, you know, and let God handle the rest, you know. And that ritual part is huge. And some way we find our way into ritual spaces that'll help us grow internally. So, yeah.
Before I go on to the sacred five, I want to ask you one question because you kind of brought it up. Why do you think it's so hard for us men to ask for help?
Vulnerability feels like weakness. Yeah. Individuality, pulling myself up by my own bootstraps, feels like success. And I think the grooming has been groomed. We've been groomed. And so, yeah, I'm exploring that. Somebody just told me, like, you don't got to do it all by yourself today. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, asking for help. What happens if somebody says no? Am I going to flare up on, well, fuck you then? Or like close up and cry? So like, yeah, I don't know if we are, that's one of those, again, going back to health, I don't know how much health, I don't know how much we've worked out that space of like, you know, asking for help and receiving the help that people are willing to give, no matter if it's this or that. You know, I don't know. I gotta go deeper within on that one.
Well, it's interesting because what I took from what you just said was we're afraid to ask. A lot of us men are afraid to ask for help because we're afraid that the person we ask in that vulnerable state will not know how to or will say no. And then what would that do to our ego? What would that do to our ability to then ask someone else? And oftentimes we won't.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think is hard because we, as a society, both men, women, non-binary folks, we're conditioned to think that men are supposed to have it all figured out. And if we don't, then we're not a man.
Yeah.
And if you do ask for help, then you are being vulnerable, and vulnerability is a sign of weakness. And it's like everything I just said is a complete and utter lie.
Yeah, facts. Shit, that's what I'm finding out. You feel me?
And it's hard because we can't tell someone who to be. That's not even our role to tell someone how to be, but we can just share what we're doing. But what I've seen is those men in my life that are the most vulnerable are actually the men I aspire to become closer to.
Yeah,